America, the land of the free and the land of self-indulgence. As an American, it's true that we love nothing more than talking about how awesome we are. And nothing screams that more than the 4th of July. And I've been looking for what I think is the best 4th of July movie. I was looking around, there are a few great movies. There's Independence Day, of course, Jaws. But the movie that I think best represents the 4th of July is National Treasure. If you want everything about America summed up in one movie, this is it. This 2004, some would say classic, has everything. Reckless abandon, constant self-indulgence, incoherentness, and hypocritical characters dismissing others' actions and doing the exact same thing and praising themselves. All of it in a sleek, good, well, I guess I shouldn't say good looking, a Nicolas Cage looking package. So I wanted to go down memory lane with our good friends John Turtletub leading the way with Nicolas Cage yelling nonsense in the back as we look back at this very bizarre but very American movie, National Treasure. Now, the first thing this movie does is establish the Freemasons and their epic treasure that has been hidden out for like 100 years. Now, if you don't know what a Freemason is, it's like the Illuminati group or something. It's like on the back of a dollar bill. I don't know. This wasn't exactly a core history memory we were taught. I was too busy learning about LeBron's legacy. But to this kid, it is very important, and apparently as well to his grandfather as well. They got their heads all the way up the Freemasons' butts. To these guys, the Freemasons are the coolest guys to ever exist, and their lore is amazing. So the movie starts out with Nicolas Cage being brainwashed as a child by his grandfather with political ideologies he didn't know about, and we already got some really intense indoctrination. We're already off to a very American start to the movie. His absentee father really isn't able to stop this brainwashing from happening.
Another fatherless child.
And because he doesn't interfere, Grandpa Simpson says to him, "Do not let anyone get in your way, Nicolas Cage. Bulldoze your way through any opponent to find this free man treasure. Every man for himself, baby." Anyways, we're now in the future now with old Nicolas Cage and Sean Bean as they're looking to find the Flying Dutchman underneath the water.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
Then they get into the ship and they find the Bilbo pipe that they were looking for. Nicolas Cage, with no gloves or any archaeological gear, just grabs this rare antiquity and just cracks it in half. Thank you, Nicolas Cage. That's what we were looking for. Glad you could shatter it. And this is where we start to realize Nicolas Cage's character here might not be a very good person. But hey, Nicolas Cage is so charismatic, we don't really care about his actions. Then Sean Bean says to him, "Hey man, if we want to get this treasure, we're gonna have to steal the Declaration of Independence." And Nick Cage hates this. He's like, "There's no way that's ever gonna happen. You're evil, Sean Bean." Then they all get into this big fight and the Americans blow up the antique and they destroy this entire ship they didn't have any right to, and they all just leave.
Excellent job, men. We live to fight as slaves in someone else's war another day.
Nick Cage looks around and goes, "Well, those are the bad guys now, even though a minute before they were best friends. So since they're bad, we're gonna have to steal the Declaration of Independence before them." You hypocrite! You agree with them now? Why do we blow up this ship? I feel like I'm losing my mind! Now anyways, they get the Declaration of Independence. I don't feel the need to talk about the constant worship of this document. The amount of time the movie stares at it actually counts as parchment porn. Like, eyes up here, buddy. I think we've been staring at this piece of paper a little too long. It's getting weird now. But them stealing this piece of paper is actually the best part of the movie. John Voight is Nick Cage's dad, and he goes berserk when he finds out they stole the Declaration of Independence. He's very understandably mad. He says, "You guys are morons, and you're chasing something you'll never find." And finally, we have a voice of reason in this movie. But Nick Cage is like, "Man, that's tragic you don't believe in us, Dad, because we're the good guys."
Nah, it really breaks my heart that there's people out there that don't believe in us.
The one character who has any logic in this movie is just seen as some kooky old man, because in Nick Cage's perspective, he's an utter fool. And the movie works off this weird perspective due to how everyone that is against Nick Cage at the beginning will change to work with him at a drop of a hat. It's the Dom Toretto effect. No matter who he interacts with, unless they're the main villain, they will end up joining his side. And is it because he's right? No, the reason it is because
You're Nick.
And we see this lack of repercussions on Nick Cage's character later in the movie. We see later as Harvey Keitel, the cop, is about to arrest him, but he goes, "Nah, don't worry about stealing the Declaration of Independence. The guy who stole it off you, will send him to jail. He's the real villain. How about you go make out with the chick from Inglourious Basterds in some probably plantation house, okay? Awesome. Get out of here, you two goofballs." Okay, that last line was a little harsh. I'm not saying anything, okay? I'm not saying Nick Cage would willingly live in a previous slave owner house. But what I am saying is that he loves history, and this house looks like something Jasper and the Colons would live in. And I'm talking about Casper's Confederate era. Why does no one talk about that? My sister told me about that and I can't unhear it. And just like the average American, this movie is bloated. 2 hours and 15 minutes? Are you joking? How dare you waste my time like that? If you're gonna be a dumb popcorn movie, get me in and spit me out in 90 minutes. But that might be part of its genius. National Treasure being over 2 hours long eventually forces you to mentally check out. Then, like a spider, it's got you in its web. You start eating food and you start scrolling through your phone. And then, when you're not really paying that much attention, the movie's pretty fun. When it's passive, it isn't that painful. But when you look back, what is happening? I wasn't paying attention for 2 minutes. And no movie so perfectly captures the American spirit as National Treasure. It's a fat, bloated, confusing, self-indulgent, and at points hypocritical pat on the back of itself in American history. It thinks America can do no wrong and that it's the best thing ever. It is telling you at every moment to not pay attention to what's happening and to just trust the funny, charismatic man steering the ship. It's a movie so uninterested in the actual history of America and instead making it as dumbed down as possible so we can understand it, and honestly, that is the core of the American spirit. National Treasure sure is a movie, and it truly is the best 4th of July movie. It might insult your intelligence, but hey, if you're grilling and you have this playing inside your house, it ain't that bad. Just eat your food and don't notice it, and it's a pretty alright time. I give the United States of America 5 Big Macs out of 10. And stop buying the Grimace Shake, you morons. You're doing exactly what their campaign wants you to.